Hey everybody, welcome to Fantasy R&R. This is your host Ryan.
And I'm Rob.
And this is the 2022 NFL season Super Bowl. We're going to be raw dogging it tonight.
This is Fantasy with Rob and Ryan. Fantasy, Rob and Ryan.
That's right, Chiefs at Eagles. This is the big show, the big kahuna for all the marbles, whatever the fuck. Glendale, Arizona, Sunday, February 12th, 2023. 6:30 p.m. Raw. We're going to get immediately into pick'ems. I want to hear it.
28-27 over the
Golden
Chiefs.
Eagles.
I'm going Eagles. I want to see this happen. I think the Eagles have the better team. I like the offensive prowess of the Eagles. I like the rushing. I think the Chiefs' defense is good, but I do not think it is great. I think, of course, Patrick Mahomes is going to have himself a good day, but I do believe that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are going to take this game 28-27. Ryan, what are you thinking?
All right, yeah, so we're going to get into the Vegas odds and numbers a little bit later. I'm going to take 26-24 Eagles. I have to go with it. I've been calling Jalen Hurts all year, last year, this year. I talked about the Eagles being a Super Bowl contender this year. We were both on the bandwagon of the Eagles early in the year, and I have to just go with it. I feel like this is a perfect storm. I'm going to have to go with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, 26-24. We're going to hit 50 points. The Eagles are the best against pass yards this year. So Mahomes, he just got named MVP. He's got 41 TDs on the year, 5,200 plus yards. So this is going to be his biggest test to date. It's not going to be the biggest test for the Eagles. The Eagles are the best against everybody. So Mahomes, it's going to be his biggest test. He's going to have to go up against the best passing D in the NFL. KC has 33 TDs against the Eagles 22 in the air. So the Eagles are going to be the ones that are going to try and stop Mahomes. Chiefs are marginally better against the run than the Eagles this year, but who has a stronger backfield? Kansas City's number one in passing. We know this, but the Eagles at 8, that's not even the whole story because Jalen Hurts has been mostly a runner this year. And I can't even say mostly at this point. He just really evolved based off of what we talked about years ago. The Eagles are number 5 in rushing, partly to Hurts. So Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, they've all kind of split time in the backfield along with Hurts, who's a total machine. 32 total rushing TDs. That's the best in the league this year by far. The Chiefs barely have half that. This is going to be a test for Mahomes, not the Hurts and the Eagles machine. So, Rob, with that being said, you taking 28-27, me taking 26-24. Let's get into this conspiracy theory that you and me both have. We're going to dub you Rob Mulder. I'm going to be Ryan Scully. This is going to be the Twilight Zone X-Files of the NFL. What's going on with the Chiefs? Do you think the NFL is trying to have them win on purpose? Is this scripted like Arian Foster and everybody's saying?
Yes. So let's dive into this. I think this is very interesting. Arian Foster, as we know, have come out and said the NFL is scripted. Well, it's kind of a wild take because people have taken the word scripted and they have created it literally, not figuratively. Let's use our brains here, people. What if he's saying not that there's a certain script that gets pushed out by some director? No, what he might be saying is refs know what to do, when to do it, if that's a thing, and it's quite possible. As Ryan, you and I have talked about, remember in the NBA Finals, I think it was 99 or whatever, a referee was busted for calling games, and like, so it's not out of the realm of possibility here that maybe for some certain reason, whether it be betting odds that have become a very popular thing in today's sports entertainment, that maybe there's a narrative that is scripted. And I think, it's not that wild of an idea.
Yeah, and me and you have actually talked about how we're not really big on gambling in the sense of an over-under or a pick-em for a team. It just seems so much like I said, like I'm a big MMA fan. We don't talk about that on Fantasy R&R a whole lot, but I've been watching that stuff for years. I have, and I'm actually, pretty adept when it comes to that. I remember predicting that Francis Ngannou would knock out Stipe Miocic in their rematch, round 2 by, it was going to be by KO, and I actually got that. It's just like picking one of the teams for the Super Bowl. I was like, why didn't I bet on that stuff? But I was telling you, it's just like, because anytime I'm actually going to lay down money on something like that, it seems like it doesn't actually come true no matter how much I believe it. when I don't lay down money on that. So I kind of feel like, in the sense, it's not real fun. You and me have talked about this. It's like we have no control over that. But when you do something like DFS, when you do something like a fantasy league, like you have a little bit of a strategy behind it. Strategy. I'm the manager of a baseball team, Rob. What? Little League?
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, we've talked about this a little bit, where it's like we're kind of hoping we don't see what we saw the last couple games. The Kansas City Chiefs really got handed some bullshit calls against the Bengals. And I remember I was trying my best not to be a hometown biased person watching that Jaguars game. But, I mean, I said to you, I was just like, the Chiefs are getting every call. What's going on here? We all got a little excited, and we wish no ill will on Mahomes, but we all got a little excited when we saw him go down with that ankle injury.
Right.
Once he started limping,
It's hard not to.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of felt like something was going that way for the Chiefs all year. Now, at the end of the day, it's not scripted, but there's been some bad calls. I mean, we've seen it happen against the Jags a lot. It's because it just doesn't sell tickets. It's not as sexy. And, you know, I see all these people acting like they're going to lose their goddamn mind if the Chiefs don't win or the Eagles don't win. It's like, who fucking cares? Both these teams have won a Super Bowl in the last 5 years. What does it really matter?
Right.
I don't know.
But it could be the narrative that is scripted.
All right, with all that in mind, let's get into the Vegas odds. Injury report right now. This stuff's going to matter to you. Mahomes is apparently a full participant. I don't know with that ankle injury, like, what's really going on there. I don't know how anybody could be I mean, Christian McCaffrey lost almost 2 seasons over something like that, so it just doesn't make any sense to me. Willie Gay Jr., L'Jarius Sneed, Darius Toney, McColl, Juju Smith-Schuster. A lot of these guys were just very much on the border. Did not practice, limited practice for most of the weeks. This past week, where everybody got a little bit of a rest, I think the only person that's kind of like day-to-day right now is like Darius Toney. Juju apparently is a full participant. Same thing with the Eagles. They're as healthy as can be. They're just doing walkthroughs at this point. Lane Johnson is waiting to fully heal. That's about it. But I think it's going to be a very competitive contest. Right now, Las Vegas has the odds at Eagles negative 1.5. So you got to beat that 2-point spread. Over under 51 points. So obviously, Rob, with your score prediction of 28-27 Eagles, you'll be taking the over at 56. With my score prediction of 26-24, I'll be taking Eagles. I'll be taking the under at 50, and we'll see what happens. Who really gives a shit? Eagles negative 125 money line, KC plus 105 money line. So basically, what that means is you bet $100 on the Eagles to win. You bet $125 on the Eagles to win. You win 100. With KC, you bet 100. You win 105. Super Bowl MVP. That's going to be our last topic for the day right now. Rob, so what we're going to do here is we're going to pick somebody from the Eagles. Since we think the Eagles are going to win, we're going to pick somebody from the Eagles we think is going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl, because there has not been a Super Bowl MVP on a losing team during the Super Bowl since Chuck Howley of the Dallas Cowboys back in, I think, like the 60s or 70s. So you're going to pick somebody on the Eagles that's going to be Super Bowl MVP. But we're also going to decide if the Chiefs are to win this game because of the conspiracy theory, who would be theoretically the Chiefs MVP.
Yeah, when it comes to the Eagles, I think it's going to be run heavy. I think Jalen Hurts essentially is going to have to be able to command the offense, but I think it's going to end up being Miles Sanders, who will be the guy who will have the multiple touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing. Just taking a wild stab here, of course. I know there's Kenneth Gainwell behind him and Boston Scott, of course, that is, essentially vulture touchdowns from him. But I do believe Miles Sanders has the ability, to have this huge game on this humongous stage. Don't forget, he's a free agent after this year. So you don't think every team's watching this guy. Everybody's going to be watching him. Miles Sanders on the Eagles side. When it comes to Kansas City, it's going to be wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. He's going to rise up from the ashes, have himself a great game. He has been playing in playoff games. He has, tons of experience in the playoffs with Steelers, and I wouldn't be shocked if, of course, Patrick Mahomes is going to be known to run, but, of course, he's going to be airing it out, and I think he's going to go to the most seasoned vet wide receiver on the Chiefs. Ryan, what are you thinking, Eagles and Kansas City?
Well, I've seen a lot of speculation, especially for the Vegas odds and the Vegas betting, that Kenneth Gainwell is going to be the Super Bowl MVP. A lot of people are putting their money down on him right now because he's been kind of out snapping Miles Sanders over the last few weeks during the playoffs. But for me personally, I have to say, I put it out there a long time ago. Jalen Hurts was going to be a top QB in this league. I think that right now is the only time that I can say with complete confidence Jalen Hurts is going to be the Super Bowl MVP. He's going to take down Patrick Mahomes. The Eagles are going to win this game. Jalen Hurts will be MVP because he can run, he can pass. So that whole team right there, with Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott and Miles Sanders, that's great. They all split time, though. But they also split time with Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts is going to get some of his rushing TDs, he's going to get some of his passing TDs. I think he's going to out-duel Mahomes by the end of all this, especially because he's fully healthy and Mahomes is not. Jalen Hurts is the MVP of this game. So I'm going to go with that classic QB takes the MVP. But, however, if, X-Files, Travis Kelce is going to be the MVP if the Chiefs win. And why I think that is because you've convinced me over the last 5 years. I love talking to you about fantasy football because, you're the one that really got me on that fucking hype train of let's just take Kelce at tight end really early in drafts and forget about everybody else. Right now, I think there's going to be a changing of the guard. Maybe Andrew has it for the next 1 to 2 seasons when Kelce starts to decide on retirement and all that kind of stuff. But Travis Kelce is the man. So I'm going to say if the Chiefs take this game, it's going to be because Kelce has 150 yards receiving and 3 TDs. Because I don't know if Pacheco and Melvin Gordon on the practice squad and Jerick McKinnon, I don't know if they're going to have all that much to do with what happens tonight. Mahomes is going to be just kind of dumping things off for his life, and I think Kelce's going to be the one guy who's always open on the field, as he said. Well, I'm going to handle it, and I'm going to nail it. This was Ryan and Rob with Fancy on R. We'll see you next time.
Did you catch the game last night?
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
Try lasagna. It's my favorite. I'm going to come.